Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey with SouthernKitchen.com. Today we're going to help you crack through some of the mystery of the big green egg. This is a wonderful tool to have outside in your yard. If you're a fan of grilling, smoking, barbecuing, you really can't go wrong with the big green egg. There's a bit of mystique surrounding them. They're not as intuitive to use as a normal charcoal or gas grill. So I'm going to walk you through just a couple of easy steps on how you can own and really learn to love your big green egg. This is the extra large size here. I think this is good for home use. I don't think unless you're in competition barbecue, in which case you probably have a smoker, you really don't need to get into the double XL. If you're cooking for 1 or 2 people, you might want to go smaller. But if you like entertaining at home, maybe cooking for anywhere from 4 to 8 people, this is a good sized grill to have. There's a couple pieces of equipment that I want to walk through that's going to tie into how to light our grill. So we have our rack that we're just going to take out temporarily. I want to talk fuel for a second. Very important that we are only using natural hardwood lump charcoal. Hardwood charcoal is a cleaner burn, it burns hotter, and it burns longer than briquettes. Briquettes will give off kind of a weird chemically odor and flavor and impart that into your food. That's not good, so we're going to avoid that at all costs. Lump charcoal doesn't necessarily have to be the big green egg brand. You can find things from Royal Oak or some of your other brands out there. This is just what was available to us. So if you can look down inside your egg, we kind of have some tiers of the ceramic interior. When you're filling your charcoal, you want to fill to the first line here on the inside. You want to get a good full burn with this. We're just going to dump this in. Better to go heavier than not enough. So we're going to set this to the side here. Lots of accessories you can buy. I'm going to walk you through just a couple of the really important ones. We have our tool for ash management here. This is really important. As this charcoal burns, it will give off some ash, and once the vents down here are open, you can scoop it out. So that's a good tool to have. We're going to use this to just evenly disperse our charcoal. For when it comes time to put the grates back on or remove it once it's hot, your little grippers here are indispensable, so make sure you have 2 of these at hand. And our charcoal starters. These are really, really handy. You'll never need a chimney starter like you will with a normal charcoal grill. In fact, because of the shape and the nature of the egg, it almost acts as its own chimney starter. So we're going to take 1 or 2 pieces. I'm going to start with 2 just because I like to get this burning as quickly as possible. We're going to nestle this inside the charcoal, and we're going to let this go. We're going to light the starters, and we're going to let the vents completely open on top and open at the bottom. Airflow is super critical to getting this thing burning very hot. The more oxygen meets a fire, it's going to burn a lot hotter, which is exactly what we want to start. So everything is open. We're going to have the lid of the grill open. And you can use any device that you use for lighting. I kind of like the safety that a blowtorch gives me, just to be able to keep my distance and not have a long match or something where the flames may creep up a little higher. And you're just going to burn right on the starter, not necessarily the coals. So those are going to burn a little more slowly. It's not like you're using newspaper, which you could use in a pinch. You just might need to give the coals a little more love with the blowtorch itself if you're out of the starters, but really it's a good investment to try and use. So we're going to use our ash tool, just kind of scatter this around as it burns to make sure all the coals light evenly. We're going to keep the lid open for about 7 to 10 minutes as it's lighting originally, and then we're going to close the lid, keeping the vents open to where we can control our temperature. That's where you can set the thermostat, for grilling things like steaks and chops over direct heat. You're going to want anywhere between 600 and 700 degrees. So it's been about 10 minutes. Depending on the size and load of your charcoal in here, it might take closer to 15 for us to get a good burn on our coals. If you look down inside here, you'll see that our coals have started to ash over on the bottom. We're just gonna use our ash tool to maneuver these around to where the guys on top can get their love as well, also burn down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna close the lid. For about 15 minutes, you'll start to see the thermostat work its magic and move all the way for direct heat. We're talking steaks, chops, burgers, anything like that. You're gonna wanna go between 600 and 700 degrees. Our vent is completely open up top and open all the way down here on the bottom. We're gonna keep it that way until it's time to cook. So our coals are between the 600 and 700 degree range. That's good. One very important thing, we need to release some of this heat, because if we were to open the grates, open the handle immediately, you might be hit with a heat wave. So we're gonna do what we call the burp. The burp is where you just kind of open it up and gradually let some of that heat escape. You're kind of regulating the temperature inside. Do this about 5 or 6 times. And then we're gonna go all the way on top. We're gonna place our grates on top of the grill. We've still got a little bit of flame, that's okay. It's gonna rest on right there. And then we're just gonna close the lid until we are ready to grill. One final note, these things can be intimidating, but as a professional, I can say it does take about a 5 or 6 use learning curve to fully get the hang of it. So don't be afraid to experiment. Play with your heat control, your vents down at the bottom or the top. If it's starting to get too hot, you can kind of choke some of the flame out from either the top or the bottom, or if you're feeling it's not getting up to the temperature you want, you can open it up. Just play with it, try different cuts of meat. You can try vegetables, seafood, desserts, really anything under the sun can all be prepared in a different manner on the Big Green Egg. So try this at home and have some fun with it.